Hi there. Have you ever felt unsure and anxious in front of a camera? Definitely, I have. Welcome to my Camera Confidence Project Day 21. Here I am sharing my progress and tips how to gain camera confidence. If you find it interesting, follow me, join me, let's dive in. Before we start today's session, I will introduce my AI Noor assistant. I will just start. Good evening, Noor.
Salam, hi, namaste, and sasrikal. Good evening, Sajid. What's on your mind today? Ready to dive into a new topic or practice for your YouTube channel?
Yes, I have already started recording and I have introduced myself. Now I have started also a session with you. And today I want to talk a bit more about a topic which I'm not very sure about. So I want you to take a role of experienced audio engineer, especially a person who knows a lot about technicalities about audio mixer. Can you do that?
Absolutely, Sajid. I'll step into the role of an experienced audio engineer for you. Let's dive into the world of audio mixers. What specific aspects are you curious about? Is it more about the setup, different features, or perhaps troubleshooting issues?
The first of all I want to speak about is the signal quality and different types of signals. I have seen on the mixer that you have something called mic and you have something called line. What's the difference about those signals? And the other part is the input signals and what kind of signal goes out of a mixer. Do you need a amplifier later on, or when you have a mixer, or not?
Great question, Sajid. Let's break it down. Mic and line signals. These refer to different types of audio signals that a mixer can handle. MIC level signals are very low level signals, typically what you get from a microphone. These signals are weak, usually measured in millivolts. Because they're so weak, they need a significant amount of amplification. That's why most mixers have a preamp built into the mic inputs to boost the signal to a usable level. Line level signals are much stronger and more robust. These are the types of signals that come from devices like keyboards, CD players, or other audio equipment. Line level is usually about 1 volt, which is quite a bit stronger than a mice level. Mixers treat these signals differently, requiring less amplification. As for output signals from a mixer, they are typically at line level. After mixing all your inputs, like mics and line level devices, the mixer outputs a line level signal that's ready to be sent to other devices, like recording equipment or speakers. Now, whether you need an amplifier depends on what you're connecting the mixer to. If you're sending the signal to powered speakers, which have built in amplifiers, you don't need an external amplifier. However, if you're using passive speakers, which don't have built in amplification, you'll need a power amplifier to boost the signal to a level that can drive the speakers. Would you like to go deeper into any of these aspects?
Well, the first thing I want to understand a bit more is about inputs. As you are saying that the mic signal is very low voltage and almost millivoltage in, and the line signal is a bit more about 1 volt. So when you are using both mics and
Yes, my C signals are in the millivolt range, which means they're really weak. That's why when you plug a microphone into a mixer, the mixer uses a preamp to boost that signal. Without this amplification, the mic signal wouldn't be strong enough to work with or to be heard clearly through speakers. On the other hand, line signals are much stronger, around 1 volt. These signals are already at a level where they don't need much, if any, additional amplification. That's why when you plug in a device like a keyboard or an audio player, the mixer doesn't need to boost the signal as much as it does for a microphone. This difference is why most mixers have separate mic and line inputs, or they allow you to switch between mic and line level for each channel. Mixing the wrong signal type with the wrong input can cause issues like noise or distortion. Would you like to explore how these different inputs affect your mix, or how to properly set levels for each type?
Yes, definitely. I want a bit more information about. But before we do that, as I have understood you now that a mic has very low weak signal, and usually it needs something preamp or a gain. Is that correct? That we when we increase our gain, we are actually increasing the line and the signal which are coming in, and we are and in a way we are not doing anything, we are not changing the sound quality, and we are not changing this how the sound is will sound, but actually just increasing the amplitude of the signal which are coming in. And as I understand you that to have same kind of signal to up to line, so we will normally we will take the signal and have it amplified up to level of line, and after that then we can see how much volume we will send through it. And you, as you are mentioning about the output from the mixer, and it usually is 1 voltage or line signal. So when if we had a speaker which were active speaker, meaning that it has its own amplifier, then we don't need to have any other equipment. But if the speaker doesn't have this amplifier, the signal directly will be too weak. So we maybe will have to have another amplifier between the mixer and the speaker. Is that correct? Understood?
You've got it, Sajid. Let's break down what you've just summarized, because you're spot on. 1. Preamp and gain. Yes, a microphone signal is very weak, so it needs a preamp to boost it to a usable level. When you adjust the gain on a mixer, you're essentially controlling how much amplification that weak mic signal receives. This boost brings the MEC signal up to line level, which is strong enough to work with in the rest of your audio chain. Importantly, as you said, this process doesn't change the quality of the sound. It's just increasing the signal's strength or amplitude. 2. Amplification process. After the mice signal is amplified to line level via the gain control, it's on the same level as signals coming from line inputs like a keyboard. At this point, all your signals, whether they started as mic or line, are at the same level and can be mixed together in the mixer without causing any issues. 3. Output and speakers. Mixers typically output at line level, which is perfect for powered active speakers since they have built-in amplifiers that can take that line level signal and amplify it further to drive the speakers. But if you're using passive speakers, which lack built-in amplification, then you'll need an external amplifier between the mixer and the speakers to boost that line level signal to a level powerful enough to drive the speakers. You've understood it all very well. Is there anything else you'd like to explore, like how to set the gain properly, or maybe understanding the difference between gain and volume?
Yes, definitely. What I need, I think I need a bit more information about is that when we are setting the gain, we also have something faders. Shall the faders stand on zero when we are adjusting the gain, or
Sounds like you're referring to the pad switch, which is another important tool when setting the gain. Let's talk about how the gain, pad, and volume controls interact. 1. Gain. As we discussed, the gain knob controls the initial amplification of your input signal, particularly for weak MIC signals. Setting the gain correctly is crucial because if it's too low, your signal will be too quiet and you might introduce noise when you try to boost it later. If the gain is too high, you can cause distortion by overloading the input channel. 2. Pad switch. The pad switch is a feature found on some mixers, and it's there to help manage particularly strong input signals. When you engage the pad, it reduces the input signal by a set amount, usually by 10 or 20 decibels dB. This is useful if you're dealing with a very hot signal, like from an active microphone or a high output instrument, which might otherwise overload the input and cause distortion. By reducing the signal with the pad, you can bring it down to a manageable level before it reaches the gain stage. 3. Volume. Once your signal is at the right level using the gain control, with or without the pad, the volume fader or knob controls how much of that signal you send through the mix and out to your outputs. Think of gain as controlling the input level and volume as controlling the output level. When setting up your mixer, start with the gain. Set it so that the signal is strong but not distorting. If the signal is too strong, engage the pad. Adjust the volume. Once your gain is set, use the volume controls to balance the different channels and control what the audience hears. Would you like to dive deeper into how to practically set these levels, or perhaps talk about signal flow within the mixer?
The only thing I think I need a bit more help on is that you have both a master volume and a volume on just the signal which are coming in. So how shall we treat those two?
Great question. Understanding the relationship between the channel volume and the master volume is key to getting a balanced mix. Here's how they work together. 1. Channel volume. Each channel on your mixer has its own volume fader or knob, which controls the level of that specific input signal, like a microphone, instrument, or other audio source within the mix. Think of it as the fine-tuning control, where you balance all the individual sounds relative to each other. For instance, you might lower the volume on a guitar channel to ensure it doesn't overpower the vocals. 2. Master volume. The master volume, or master fader, controls the overall output level of the entire mix. It's the final volume level before the audio leaves the mixer and heads to your speakers, recording device, or another output. How to treat these two. Set your channel volumes first. Start by adjusting the channel volume so that each input is balanced within the mix. You want to make sure each element can be heard clearly and at the right level compared to the others. Use the master volume for overall control. Once your channels are balanced, use the master volume to control the overall output level. This is especially important when adjusting for the environment you're in, whether you're recording, live streaming, or playing through speakers in a venue. Practical steps. 1. Set your gain on each channel first to ensure a strong, clean signal. 2. Adjust the channel volumes to balance all your inputs relative to each other. Make sure nothing is too loud or too quiet in the mix. 3. Use the master volume to set the overall loudness of the mix. If you need to make the entire mix louder or quieter, do it here without messing up the balance between individual channels. If you're ever unsure, a good rule of thumb is to set the master volume at a moderate level, say around unity gain, often marked as 0 on the fader, and then adjust your channel volumes. This way, you're starting with a safe overall level and focusing on balancing the mix itself. Does that clear things up? Would you like to run through a hypothetical setup to practice these steps?
No, thank you. I think this is enough for today, and I have just stopped the AI Noor for the moment. The reason for what I will do now, I will check those suggestions which are come up from AI Noor. But before we are getting out of time for today's recording, and I have another aspect which I wanted you to also know that today I have changed a bit in my microphone. If I just pull it off, as I see, I have extra cover windshield in the mic. It is to just check how it will affect the reverb in my setup. My thinking is that when I have this and an extra, it will be a better voice and maybe a bit lower reverb. So what we will do is that I will first make a test while I'm talking. So I will count to three and then we will take off one by one to see how does this affect. So we are starting testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm taking it off and see how it affects. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will take one another take. I will take this windshield off it and see how does it go when I'm talking directly to it. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's also concludes today's session. And I will now go in the post production and upload it and see how does this affect or how does it and how when I will take it on the web later on and see how if it has helped too. So until next time, and please give me some advice. I need some advice from you, both professional and other people out there. I'm just trying to learn this functionality and to see if I'm able to deliver same type of qualities as many other YouTubers are out there. It is as one of the thing aspects I have learned is that when you buy a product and see the reviews and on the other people how they're using, from that point to you to also to be able to have the same type of quality, it takes a lot of learning and knowledge, and you can't just buy new equipment to have same kind of effect. So the player who plays has also a mm, um, in a way that in a sense of if you take that in football, it doesn't just see how kind of equipment, how what kind of shoes you have, what kind of football you're playing, but actually also player has a lots of impact how the quality of this will. And same wise we see it in this that I have both good equipment, I have both Rode Wireless Go 2 and Insta360, but still not are able to deliver the same kind of quality as we see on YouTube. But until next time, this is Sajid Mukhtar from Camera Confidence Project Day 29. See you guys.